I just have to say, I don't know why. I feel like everyone was looking good. I felt like I felt like
Something about a little layer of dirt on
I don't know, something about it like. What's up, everybody? My name's Josh.
And my name's Nick.
And we're here to give you
a reality check.
So this episode.
Yeah, episode 5 of Survivor 47 kicks off. We're getting into it now, I think. The season is really, like, the burners are up.
Yes.
The engines are revved.
Yes. The water's boiling.
Yeah,
like
throw
it's
the
getting
pasta
steamy.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like al dente, we're not sure yet, but it's definitely starting to cook.
Every episode, I'm just left, again, I said this last week, I'm like, wow, that was a great episode.
Great
like,
episode.
Again, we had a lot of moments. We had post-tribal fights, like big reactions, a brand new Survivor twist.
New negotiations,
new rewards, and a visit to the sanctuary where what? Good things happen.
Figuring what happens at the sanctuary.
You're supposed to know.
So we start off this episode, we have Lavo coming back from tribal council.
Mm-hmm. Fresh off the Keyshawn vote.
That was a rough tribal for me to watch.
Yeah.
It was a lot. There was a lot going on. We had the whole Keyshawn moment and the whole Teeny, like, not really knowing what's going on. And I felt for Teeny. Like,
yeah, I mean, Teeny is kind of, floating in the ocean without a lifeline right now.
Exactly. Teeny doesn't really know where Teeny stands on the tribe. Teeny's kind of like looking for, like, do I have friends or foes? And it's a lot. And
I think they are actually in a really great spot right now because we said that the pot is boiling.
The pot is boiling.
And I think that
the Teeny tortellini,
the Rome pot is going to boil over soon. So I think it's another one of those situations of, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and Genevieve's soul Teeny combo.
The three
against Rome.
Yes.
So I don't think Teeny is as in bad of a spot as maybe it's being played out. I think
I could see that. I can see that because as a viewer, right in that moment, I thought, like, oh snap, like, what's going to happen with Teeny? But you're right. As the episode was going on, you could definitely see that Teeny was
getting some of their confidence
back. Exactly.
I think so too.
So, how did you feel about right after that first, literally 5 minutes? Bam, we're at a challenge.
Yeah, so ever since I was a kid, the thing that really got me into Survivor first was the challenges. Like, and even as an adult, I mean, I'm 24, almost 25 now. The challenges still kind of, like, bring that inner child in me. So I loved it. I think there should be more challenges. I think they should go back to the old format of a reward challenge and an immunity challenge, both in the same episode. They used to do that. I used to love it. But I was like, okay, yeah, like, they've been teasing this twist online and in commercials. Like, let's see.
What's the twist? What's the twist? See it.
They're walking into this challenge, and everybody immediately is like, oh, shit. Because there's only 2 colors.
And there's no red.
There's only yellow and blue.
And it's kind of funny that Lava literally was just that tribal council.
Yeah.
So the fact that there was no red was like, what is going to happen?
Yeah,
like,
it was kind of queuing them up for, like, all right, we're going down to 2.
I thought they were maybe going to split Lava into, like, half and half or figure it out. But the twist of the reward challenge was there's the 3 tribes. They're each member of every tribe is putting their hand in a bag and they're drawing a color. And there's going to be 2 teams of 7. It's going to be a yellow team and it's going to be a blue team. They're going to work together, do the challenge, and then whoever is the winner of that challenge, they are getting rewarded to go to the sanctuary and have what they call a Survivor social hour.
Yeah.
I like the reward. I love the aspect.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I don't know. Something about the twist, it was a little bit hyped up for me. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a long-term thing.
Yeah, I thought it was. I agree with you because there was a big kind of, like, hullabaloo about this twist coming.
Hullabaloo.
Hubba. And I do agree with you. I think that I like the idea of this reward because we never get to see, other than the journeys, so many different tribe castaways interacting with each other. Yeah, so the reward plays out. We have kind of another mix of Survivor Classics with some new pieces in there. I really enjoyed this challenge. I thought it was good. It was very interactive in a way that was like teamwork oriented, which I think was kind of the theme of the day.
Yes.
Was like cohesion. I almost said coercion.
I was thought you were going to say kumbaya.
Well,
that too.
You want to kumbaya. Yeah. You want to kumbaya. And so yeah, I liked it. Were there any moments from the challenge that like stood out to you? How'd you feel about it?
I don't know. I thought that the team dynamics were at first, I thought that the blue tribe really did have an advantage over the yellow.
Stacked.
They looked very stacked. Yeah. Honestly, if you have Soul on your team, I'm just automatically assuming you're going to do well because it looked pretty physical. But to see, did you see how fast the yellow tribe got that ladder out?
Yeah.
That was
And you know who was at the front of it?
Miss Seuss. Mother Sue.
Mommy.
Thank you.
No, I loved it. I agree with you. I mean, even we were sitting here, we're recording this episode directly after having viewed Fresh, directly after the episode. We don't normally do that. We normally film on Thursday after like having a minute to decompress. But I sat next to you and I was like, oh my God, Blue is going to like sweep. Blue looks stacked because like you said, it looked very physical. But we were very surprised that it was not. There was a good kind of like, one's ahead, the other's ahead. And
push and pull kind of action going on. A typical, you got to race, get the keys, unlock the ladder, get some balls, and you got to throw the balls into the basket. Mm-hmm. Whoever gets the 5 in first, you win the reward.
I did like the element of this, though. Normally, you can see one person throwing the balls into the net, like the slanted slope, whatever, can stand in one spot and do all 5 of them.
True.
But it was nice, again, the idea of kind of teamwork. They had 5 people each throw one ball at different intervals that were further back from the net. So it made it a little bit more difficult. So you had to kind of play some strategy into that, put maybe your less strong players that can throw the ball closer and figure it out that way. So it added like another little layer to that.
Yeah, I agree.
Before we get into
the social hour
and kind of the thereafter effects is that at the end of the challenge, we see this really kind of tight moment. The blue team does almost come back.
They did. I mean, they tied it back up
for a minute. And it was just interesting to see that it kind of reminded me of that very first day where they had all just met and it was like, here's a challenge, like, let's go.
Yep.
Obviously they had some of their tribe mates with them on the same teams, but it was like a fresh start.
It was.
And we really did get to see like people putting their strengths forward. And, we saw Kyle grab 3 bags at once when Rome couldn't even grab 2 off the same ladder.
And it's funny because right when Kyle got up the ladder, I was like, Kyle? You're bringing Kyle up there?
He did. He was like, what?
To my surprise, Kyle, he flew through getting those bags off of the little carabiners. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
The one thing that I noticed, which we both talked about, which was very interesting to see, is that Teeny was the only person on Lavo that won the reward, and Gabe was the only person on Tuku that didn't win the reward.
Yeah.
So you have both of those dynamics. Now, if you're Gabe, you are either going to sit at camp and you're going to be like, shoot, my tribe is like, talking without me and strategizing, or you're going to go run and look for that idol.
Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised a little that they didn't show more of what Gabe was doing at camp.
So I think overall fun twist.
Yeah.
I think that it could be, I wish that they had done it a little bit earlier before the merge because we're getting teased that the next episode is the merge. So I just wish that this might have been like a few episodes in as opposed to like right before the merge.
I agree.
Because it's like, okay, you're going to give them this, social hour powwow, which we'll get into, just to merge them in the next 2 days.
Like, there's not a lot of time in between them having that social hour.
You couldn't leverage any of the information that you got pre-merge from the social hour. Unless you were Gata and got some kind of groundbreaking info, but they didn't.
Going to the social hour.
Yeah. Where was the food?
I saw one hot dog.
They each got one hot dog and one soda. Like, I'm sorry. You put the name Survivor Reward on something, there better be coleslaw,
potato salad, egg beer, salad, the whole nine.
Where
a margarita or two.
Yeah, like where? That's my whole thing was like, okay, I guess it's like a quick little thing. Like, it felt very almost like thrown together.
Yeah, like kind of last minute.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Like, there's no big twist before the merge. We got to do something. Let's just give them some hot dogs. You know, like.
I mean, let's not be a little greedy. You know, it has been 9 days and they haven't eaten, and this is their first.
Exactly.
I will say
it's the first time at the sanctuary too.
Okay,
it should be bigger. It should be more of a
like a feast, like something of those. It should
feel more special.
Yeah,
I think that's my problem with it. Is that it didn't feel very special. Like they had to cook them themselves.
That is true.
There was one cornhole game for 7 people. A lot happens.
While we're at the sanctuary.
It is a very social hour.
Conversational.
Yeah.
The girls were talking.
Everybody sits down and they're like, wow, it's so nice to meet you. I'm really excited to get to meet you. And Sue just goes, so Sam, you're like running Gata, right? And everybody's like,
I think a Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, they're like, record scratch, blink, insert blink noise. Like, and Sam's just like, oh, no. It's just crazy. So we had that big moment from Sue right at the beginning who, again, Sue can literally do no wrong. But I think that it was a great play by her to just kind of like
jump in,
yes, but to show all of these 7 people that you not only are willing to divulge information that's not yours and that you have it is not good.
You know, I didn't honestly think about that.
You know, like it's like, oh, how does she know? Why is she telling us that? And how does she know that? You know, is like sneaky little teeny time
sneaky little teeny little Sue. Sneaky little Sue.
Sneaky Snoo.
Sneaky
Snoo. Sneaky Snoo.
Sneaky Sue Smay.
That one.
They did go on journeys. People did talk. When they were there, the first thing that was mentioned when I don't remember who
Caroline, Andy, and Teeny.
Yeah, when that journey happened, the first thing they accused was Sam and Sierra together. So I feel like every tribe does already kind of have that knowledge, but Sue was the first person to point the finger and be like, okay, now show your cards. Yeah. I don't think that they thought as deep as a viewer did while they're there on the island.
Yeah, I think they were worried about the hot dogs getting cooked.
I mean, I don't know why Sue didn't just take the grill and let them know that Mother knows best.
Look, she's going to do one thing, and it's serve. Whether it's hot dogs or tea. You know?
She served the tea.
She said hot dogs or tea.
Tiana decided that she was going to let everybody know that Gabe used the idol and basically tell that tribe that he was the biggest threat.
Yeah, she took a page out of Sue's book and was like,
here you go.
Mic drop.
Listen, the Tuku tribe was not playing games trying to get some information. But honestly, that was the reason for it. They were trying to get some information. Do I think that Tiana throwing Gabe's name out there off the jump was good for her game? I don't necessarily believe so, but
I don't know. Like, I go back and forth on it because knowing that they're so close to a merge, there's not going to be a lot of like additional time spent at Tuku. So it's like,
that's true.
In theory, like now knowing that the next episode is the merge, they won in the immunity challenge, which we'll talk about. So they're not going to be together anymore.
I mean, that's true.
You know, so she's setting herself up where I think that maybe if the conversation was had a little bit more privately, it would have been a really great play because it sets her up to let people know that she's that crack and she's kind of malleable to work with outside of Tuku when they get there. Because Tuku is going to be going into the merge with the most amount of people. Her intention and the strategy behind dropping that big bomb, because I think she was under the impression, because Sue has kind of kept it close to her chest, her relationship with Gabe. So I think that she was trying to like rally the girls, be like, we don't like him, he's a meanie, you know. So
I mean, she was trying to smother any
mother Sue smother.
Sue smother. I think that she just wanted to like, you know, get the Gabe name and like kind of like
Plant
degress that. Like she wanted to take that away as much as she could. Like, I mean, that's her number one.
Yeah.
You know, it's giving the Denise Malcolm is the Gabe is the Gabe too. It's very much showing that. The moment that kind of stood out was like the Rachel, Teeny, Caroline aspect happening, because that was one of each tribe, and I did like that they were kind of having a little powwow. And I mean, we're seeing a lot more of Caroline this episode, which I do like, because I kind of was counting her out. Yeah. And I think that reward challenge was giving her a little bit more of a light that we weren't shown before, just like we weren't really shown Genevieve as much as we were the previous episode. So I like the light that she's getting. I like that it's one of each tribe. I like that it's the girl. Like, I see great things happening from the three of them. Caroline saying, you know, they're going to go play cornhole. I'm still playing Survivor. Like,
yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, you can get swept up in the hot dogs and the cornhole, or you can
play Survivor.
Like, that's really all it comes down to, is how you leverage these rewards and this time that you spend together. So I think there was a good mix. You know, I think it's important to show people that you can relax, you can take yourself out of the game, because you can't be, you know, strategist, survivor mode 24/7 out on the island. I agree with you, though. I didn't really like that there was no kind of like, and that's a wrap on the social hour.
Yeah. But get your last little chats in and get on the boat and get out.
And go. Yeah. So I agree with you in that sense. We get to Lava there, who we see first.
Rome pulls Soul and goes, let's have a little chitty chat.
Rome, just to give you the kind of anxiety perspective and the heart race perspective of what we're about to talk about, Rome is having discussions as if they just lost immunity. It feels very, like Genevieve even touched on it, it feels very scrambly. It feels very, like, frantic. And it was just a reward challenge. Yeah. You know, so...
Nobody was going home. Nobody was doing anything. I understand why. Like, I could see, like, if I was Rome and I was in this position, you know, you just came back from Tribal. You just had, like, this kind of moment where you don't really trust Teeny as much, and this is your moment.
Rome kind of had the rug pulled out from under him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Rome, your rug is gone. Sorry, guy.
Sorry about your rug. Sorry, dude. That must... Snug as a bug and not a rug. Rome approaches Soul and is kind of giving him the rundown of, like, I can't trust Teeny anymore. They would never expect us to work together. You know, Teeny's the easy vote. Yeah. And is really, really pitching to Soul. And drops Teeny's advantage about having an amulet to Soul, which Soul was not privy to. And there's just a lot of, like, gaming. Like, that's what we'll kind of tie it up in a bow, as what Rome was doing, was, like, scheming, scrimping, scraggling, gaming.
Rome, the game host, put on his gamer face, and he was doing his thing.
He said, board game? No. Strategy game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soul kind of, up until this point, he kind of wakes up. He's like, what the... You know, like,
for real.
What have I been doing? Like, Soul's like, oh, let me, like, put my beach towel away and, like, you know, maybe play Survivor.
He's like, it's day 9. I haven't played Survivor yet.
Great time to play Survivor, Soul. It's just crazy because we see this fallout mentally with Genevieve's perspective of her and Rome's relationship.
Yes.
Because she went out on a very large limb last Tribal to save him.
She put an arm, a leg, and all of her hair out on the limb.
She said, Natalie,
no, she really did.
Yeah,
I wrote Genevieve is using her brain. Because in that moment, she is. She's using her brain.
Yeah, I feel like Genevieve's mind, if I could give it, like, an image, would be like one of those CSI boards with the red string. Like a murderer and has everything.
Oh, for sure.
That's Genevieve's mind.
She doesn't say that much.
Genevieve is very, you know, Genevieve, very sweet, very nice, like very unproblematic in group settings. But then she gets into confessionals and it's like you're saying, she's like, I'm literally going to slit his throat.
No, she's like, I did need to use Rome to further my game, but now I don't really see him further my game that much. And if he's the next to go, he's the next to go.
The pot's boiling over.
And the Rome pot has boiled, and we got to remove the lid.
See Teeny come back from the social hour, and it's like, Yeah, you know what? There was only hot dogs, no coleslaw.
No, but literally, Teeny goes potato. There's no potato salad. I go, potato salad goes hard. Genevieve and Sol let Teeny know that, Rome was losing his marbles, and they were letting Teeny in. Like, he's losing his marbles a little bit. He's kind of over-strategizing, thinking a little bit too deep into this. This might be a problem because he's very unpredictable, which was so... That's Rome's game right now. He's kind of unpredictable.
Jumping from Labo. Labo's had enough of our time.
Gotta. I wrote 3 things down for Gotta.
Let's give it one.
They let the chickens go, question mark.
Boom.
Why did they immediately let they go?
I think it was one of those things where they let them go, but I think in a contained way.
They didn't run away, but like...
I think they were trying to see if they give them more free range, if they would lay an egg.
Eggs. Okay, I mean...
Because are you going to lay an egg if your knees are to your ear and you can't... There's 2 other chickens in the cage? No.
I mean, laying an egg to them is like us going poop. Next thing I wrote down was, why do they never use their fishing gear? They literally said, we've had fishing gear for days and they've never used it. It was literally still wrapped up. If I was on another tribe and I found out that you never used your fishing gear after you had it for a couple of days, I would feel some type of way.
I think they were really occupied with the chickens. I think there was a lot going on with like trying to see if the chickens would lay eggs. So like, we're not going to fish right now. But I think that there's a lot of people, and maybe it's just the Gada people, like seeing that they have the fishing gear that are kind of like, well, I don't know how to do that. I barely held a fishing rod. I don't know how to fish, but I would still try.
Yeah, like, why aren't they trying? I mean, they did, but like it took days. You know, the last thing I wrote for Gada right there was literally Sierra is going to switch things up. I don't know why. I was feeling it.
I'm kind of disappointed in the whole Sierra narrative. I'm going to be so honest with you. There was a lot of moving and shaking between Sierra and Sam.
The crack has cracked.
They went from honeymoon to old married
to potential
post-divorce hookup. Like, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Like, I'm not even sure. Like, they're in divorce court, but still, like,
they definitely have attorneys.
Yeah, like they're like seeing it through for the kids. Like, I don't know what's happening quite yet, but
their kids are the chickens.
You can only be, each other's number one if it makes sense for both of you.
I mean, yeah.
So we're seeing this kind of head-butting alliance of like, I want Andy, I want Annika, I want Rachel, I want, my game, your game, my game, your game. And we'll kind of see that pot boil over a little bit later, but,
Tuku.
Yeah.
We pan over there.
We love a good pan.
Everybody comes back. Gabe is there. The first thing that Mother Sue does, hey Gabe, you'll never guess what just happened. Tiana threw your name in.
Yeah, as quick as she was ready to literally put Sam on the stand about Sierra, she went, Gabe, Tiana totally blew your shit up, dude. Like, totally. But good, because it indents the loyalty that Sue has to Gabe.
Yes.
In his mind, because he still doesn't know, at least we don't think he knows, that she has an idol. So we weren't shown that.
We haven't been shown that anybody knows about her idol right now.
I think that this Survivor Social Hour swap was the perfect thing for people to kind of forget that Sue was covered in red paint. We see Gabe and Sue discussing what actually happened. We see Caroline trying to keep Tuku together because Caroline's mindset is like, the 5 of us are most likely going to merge. Yeah. Or at the very least, 4 of us are probably going to merge.
Yeah.
So she's like, I need to set myself up in the best position to have as many numbers as I can going into the merge. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Tiana, you got to kiss and make up with Gabe. Gabe, get over it. She's trying to be the glue, keep everybody together.
I liked how Caroline was doing that because although like in the moment I was like, Caroline, like you're kind of giving controlling, like I want to like, steer the ship, but we're going to the merge soon. And if one of us, like,
it's better to have more than none.
And if somebody tells you that Tiana threw your name in, like your potential 5 strong is going to crack so quick. So
yeah.
Kyle is a loose cannon because, to be honest, we didn't really get that much screen time from Kyle. Yeah. I'm not really sure what he's thinking about of that whole situation that went on. he was kind of too busy playing cornhole to focus on any of the social or even know what really was going on.
He was too focused on that vegan hot dog.
Oh my god.
It was like
so happy.
It was like, I'm sorry, like, look, vegans, like, power, yes, save the earth, love it. That hot dog was gray. It was giving like, it was literally giving tube of gray acrylic paint. Like,
no, you want to know what's really giving? You know that episode in SpongeBob where they're trying to go from
and it's like, yeah.
That's
like,
what it was.
Kyle, I bet it tasted so good, Kyle, after 9 days of not having anything other than a coconut and a dream. But it literally looked like that French fry that rolls under your car when you're eating on the go and you find it 3 months later when you go to the vacuum place. I was like, it looked no.
Okay, it really wasn't that bad, but it was pretty bad.
It literally looked like that portion of the screen was filmed in black and white. Like, why was it so gray?
Before we move over to the immunity challenge, I just want to say that I did like that very human moment that Tiana had, you know, after she had that little conversation with Gabe. She was like, you know what? I don't want Gabe to do anything, and I will go and cut him a coconut because we all just ate and he didn't.
Yeah, because she's trying to save her ass after just throwing his entire name under the bus.
Don't get all nasty like that. She still had a human moment. And although that could have came from anybody, I do appreciate that she was looking out for his energy levels and she was looking out. I don't know. I thought that she was looking out for him in that little moment. I liked it. It was a human moment. And don't talk about it in a negative way because I was really proud of Tiana for that.
I think that is a very human moment. And you know what's also a really human moment?
Here comes the nasty.
Being selfish as hell and throwing his name under the bus. Did you like how human that was? Because that's more human than making somebody a damn coconut. On to the immunity challenge we
She didn't make a coconut. She cut the coconut.
Well, she just fell out of a coconut tree. I know they didn't get that gray hot dog from no tree.
So we get to the immunity challenge. The first thing I notice, the first thing that everybody notices, the first thing that you notice, Gata brings the chickens. They put him down, and the negotiations start.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we don't want these ungrateful ass, no egg-laying ass hens.
We want to trade these in for a dozen eggs.
No, there's 2 dozen.
For 2 dozen, yes, for 2 dozen.
Yeah.
For 2 dozen eggs.
Yeah.
They go, here's 3 chickens, give us 24 eggs.
Jeff's like, eat the chickens.
Yeah, he said, we just gave you chickens that lay eggs. You can either eat the chickens or eat the eggs, or we can negotiate. But what you're not going to do is get more for your trade-in than what you would have had. So Jeff winds up going and saying, he throws back, I'll give you 15. They go, how about 20? Jeff goes, how about we meet in the middle? We do 18. Honestly, I thought 18 was fair because if you think about it, in the last episode, second place got 6 eggs. First place got 3 chickens. If you just replace a chicken with the amount of eggs that the second place got from the last episode,
6 a chicken.
6, that's 18 eggs.
That's also the devil. One thing I love about Jeff, we were talking about this a little bit, is that like he's always open to allow them to play their own game and negotiate and kind of feed into these little side quests that they're hoping to get out of.
Of course.
I like that. I like that he's not just going to give them what they want, and he's also willing to, you know, not just give them what he wants, you know? So I thought it was a cool moment. I thought it was kind of crazy because I think if you just like let the chickens walk around and like feed them, they'll lay an egg. So like, and if I'm the people at the merge, like all the other tribes,
I would be like, you better keep those damn chickens.
Bruh, no.
I want one.
I want an omelet on week 4, you know, like. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool moment. Kind of shocked that they would give them up, but.
Okay, so the challenge starts. Sue and Annika sit out because obviously they were the 2 tribes, Gata and Tuku, that had an extra player. Lavo has to have all 4 people come. This challenge was a little bit more on the physical side.
Yeah, it was a very labor-intensive challenge. I thought it was interesting. In recent memory, I remember seeing like the super long knife. I thought that was a cool addition.
It reminds me of like the stick with like the twirly thing. It reminded me just like, you know, when you have to like flick the ring on like the corkscrew and then get it off. It was just like a little variation of that.
Yeah. I think overall it was a good challenge. I like seeing them kind of sweat and like all that. How did you feel?
I felt like you said, it was a good challenge. Tuku and Lavo definitely, I felt like were pretty neck and neck in a while because, Gata, unfortunately, Andy was using the saw on the wrong side.
This is a huge early setback.
So it kind of slowed them down a little bit. Tuku did, they did really well. They got all their pieces off. They built it up. Gata and Lavo were fighting neck and neck, building that puzzle to see who was going to win. Right at the end, we saw Soul trip over the platform that they had to stand on to throw their sandbags. And I genuinely was like, is that the moment?
Yeah. So to give you a little bit more perspective on kind of the end of the challenge, it was like Gata was nowhere to be seen. And then all of a sudden they like put it into the fourth gear and they were like, going for it, giving Lavo a really close run for their money. And like they were throwing these sandbags hard. Tiana threw one like with her full might.
Barely did anything.
And not a dent was made.
But then Soul comes out, his first pitch, bang, 5 gone.
It was fun. I mean, the puzzle was cool. I wish that it was like, it would have been cool if the puzzle board was mismatched when they were knocking it down.
And they have to build it.
Because then they would have to build it. I thought that could have been cool. Or if it like they were staring at a blank wall and then the puzzle was on the other side they couldn't look at. I just think letting them sit there and stare at the puzzle while they're breaking it, like, yeah, you're probably not going to be studying it as you're heaving sandbags at it. It was a close call. They were literally putting their last piece down as Lavo was stepping back to their mat. Like, it was like, if someone had sneezed, someone would have won. Like, it would have switched. Like,
it was so close.
It was.
Tuku wins. Lavo comes in second, and Gata, unfortunately, takes a trip to Tribal Council.
And it's not even like Gata didn't really lose. Like, the
comeback.
Yeah,
Gata almost had.
They should be very impressed with. I mean, like, it really, honestly, very truly did come down to those first few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The other two tribes were already onto their second station and Andy was still cutting the rope. So I think if that one element had been a little bit quicker, it would have been a much different outcome today. But, that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the puzzle falls.
That's how the puzzle falls, and that's how the puzzle was getting rebuilt.
Yeah.
That moment that we had right when Lavo won second place in Rome started like sobbing.
Yeah.
I literally tweeted, we're having a human moment from Rome.
Another human moment.
The
tally is now 2.
Check. Listen, earlier in that episode, I wasn't a big fan of the way that Rome was acting.
Yeah.
But seeing him break down, we always say, they're humans before they're castaways. And right. I really did like that we were able to go into like his emotional side a little more because this game has been very, I'm strategizing, I'm here to play the game. Showman, but I just like that. It was something nice, and it was also nice to see that they weren't going to Tribal because I would have been really sad if they had to go back to Tribal.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to say a little bit earlier in the podcast, that this moment kind of made me realize we heard Rome talk about his Survivor bucket list and all these things that he wants to do. And it really just kind of brings you back into that perspective of like how much he did not want his Survivor journey to end. Okay, like I don't have to let go of my dream just yet. Like, and it was very like I actually, my leg hairs just stood up. Like I just got chills thinking like, like what a relief it must be to like be such a true fan and be there and, just like cherish it and get so emotional that it might be, you got so close to it coming to an end. He was probably also just, crying because he finally did a puzzle right, like.
So we get back to the camp and the first thing I wrote down was no fire, fresh eggs, loose emotions.
Loose lips sink ships.
Loose lips did sink ships.
Yeah, I thought that was a very kind of like...
In this case, it was their fresh eggs that may go bad.
Yeah. That moment is just so funny. They're feeling great at the start of the immunity challenge. They're like, we just negotiated with Jeff Probst for eggs, Woo! They get back, they can't make fire to cook them.
No.
Can't boil, can't bake, can't fry. No sunny side up, no omelet, no over easy, no scramble.
They have no options for eggs, but
Raw.
what they do have is Andy's brain, and we have a moment with Andy. Analytical Andy came out. What did you feel about that?
I thought it was really good. I liked that moment from Andy because I think, like you said, Josh has sent me multiple messages about like the Andy arc that we're gonna get.
The analytical Andy arc.
The analytical Andy arc.
The triple A. We're calling them.
The triple A battery, put it in and get it going. I think it was nice to finally see like the edit give him a grounded moment of like he is in the game. He's still a member of the Gotta tribe. He may not be able to use a long knife to cut a rope, sure, but there are still things that he understands about how people work. And I think it was interesting to see him kind of orchestrate like this conversation between Rachel, Annika, and him.
I agree. I mean, Andy, I think, knew that he wasn't really in the best position going into camp. I think that he knew that him losing or Gotta losing that immunity challenge meant that he was one of the two options that was going home. Yeah. And he basically just let both parties know, Rachel and Annika, and then Sam and Sierra. He was like, listen, to the two girls, I'm a free vote. I'm here. Let me know what you want to do. I want to work with you. I want this to be a thing. He was painting the picture to let them or have them think that he really was a free agent. Exactly. Yeah. So
it was great. It was a great seed that he planted.
It was. And he watered it and he grew that tree. He took an apple and he bit it. All in one episode. All in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah. Annika doesn't have a vote going into this tribal council.
Oh my God. Yes.
From her journey that she went on.
Like episodes ago.
Yeah. Like 3 episodes ago. And so when she's like, I didn't have a, I was like, oh my God. So it's a 4-person vote tonight. And it only takes, it really only takes two to force a tie. Yeah. If you really wanted to get that picky about it. But
we had a moment where we saw Sam and Sierra going back and forth. Well, this is good for my game. Well, this is good for my game. Well, I want this going into the merge. Well, I don't like that because that's a risky move for me. We are seeing the cracks and the Sam and Sierra alliance more and more every episode, which honestly puts Andy in a perfect position. I just have to say, I don't know why. I feel like everyone was looking good. I felt like I felt like
something about a little layer of dirt on
I don't know, something about it like they were like sun-kissed. Something about it. I thought they were looking good.
No, there's something about that like mid-game, like that dirt, like it's just it's like.
No, I was like, Andy.
No, like we're very much we have the hots up in the reality check studio today. Something about that like gritty, like like take me in the jungle, like very Tarzan.
Yeah. So we get to tribal. Obviously, there's a lot going on. There's actually not that much going on at the moment.
It was a very tame tribal council because I think, Jeff's throwing out Jeff's questions that he always does, and everybody feels extremely confident and extremely comfortable.
They're like, I'm a part of the we. Well, I'm a part of the we. Well, yeah. I'm a part of the we.
Yeah.
And who's the damn we? Because one of you's going home.
The we ain't with me, for one of them.
I'm screaming.
So I thought it was really interesting to see that they were all kind of very calm and collected because you can really blow up the vote with one wrong answer to one of Jeff's questions, And I thought we were going to have a moment like that. There were a couple very, very confident answers. You don't want to go into tribal overly boisterous and so sure of your vote that you're going to kick somebody into being like, well, wait, is she playing it up or is she really confident with our alliance? Or so I thought it was interesting how much they were willing to kind of put into that.
I just wanted to give Andy a little highlight because we already said, he hasn't really had the best edit thus far this season right now.
Which rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
He's had a tough few days.
He had a tough day or two, but the way, he had such a great way of words in that first, couple minutes of tribal when Jeff was talking with him. I was I literally wrote down, yes, Andy, all caps. I thought he did really well. I thought he was really well spoken. He was the only person that did not say that he's a part of the we, or he hopes to be part of the we. And two, I think that the way that he spoke is what swayed Sierra to not vote for Andy. That might not be true.
He was very understanding of his role at Tribal and his part to play in the Annika blindside.
I agree. So Sam had his idol, good for one Tribal. Sam did not use his idol. Good gameplay, bad gameplay.
I think it was great. I think
not that it would have done anything for him.
He didn't need it, and none of his alliance members needed it, but also not all of his alliance members knew about it. So I think it was great to kind of just like forever never talk about it again. And now if he wants to use it as a fake idol, he also has it down the line. I was actually we have a 3-1 vote ending one of our Gata members' games, which ended up being Annika. We were really rooting for Annika here. We thought that she had a very savvy potential.
You know, I'm sad. I thought that Annika was going to do really well. I had a lot of hope for her going into Merge. I thought that she had great strategy. I thought she had great confessionals. I think that she was a great player.
My torch has never been stuffed at Tribal, and I don't know how that feels, but I imagine that it feels something like what Annika showed.
Yeah.
Because for anybody to be like, oh, that's so unprofessional, or that's so like just bratty, whatever, shut up. Because people apply for this show for decades, years and years and years. It's their dream. They watch it, and all they want to do. So to have that moment where Jeff is looking at you and the only thing that's happening is your dream is ending, hell yeah, I want to know who did it, when, why, how. Like, I want to know everything, and I would be pissed. Rightfully so. It's so refreshing for me to see reactions like that, because we always have the congenial, like,
another human moment.
Yeah, making it 3. A hat trick in human moments today. I'm so sick of the great job. You know, wow.
You really got me.
You got me good.
Bye, guys.
You got me good. Have a good luck. I'd be like this on the way out. You know, walking backwards. And that's your reality check on Survivor 47, episode 5. Unfortunately for Annika, episode 5 was her calling card. You know, the torch was snuffed and the dream was crushed. But the game rolls on, so we will be back next week with Survivor episode 6. We're getting in there. It's merge time.
It's time.
Merge. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite parts of the game because we get to see, you know, who's going to blossom and who's going to burn out. So I'm really looking forward to it. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to check us out. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. You can watch, listen, and share all of those funny videos, silly TikToks, and everything in between. Great episode. We look forward to discussing the next one, and we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.